This is Narostation. And spawning in the bottom left-hand position, the blue Terran from Woongjin Stars, also nicknamed the Invisible Terran. His name is Light.
His opponent, one of the few foreigners that's still in Pro League. His name is Huck, spawning as the orange Protoss on the top right position of Narostation.
PVT Narostation. It's going to be an exciting match. I think all the foreigner fans out there really want to see what Huck's been able to accomplish under the tutelage of Coach Park. And, you know, them saying that he did very well in the in-house practice league shows that, you know, he has so much skill and potential. And, you know, can he get back to that level where he was maybe a few years ago where, you know, he was being sent out as the ace player for SPL back when they were playing in the old team leagues for GSL back in the day, you know, when he was, you know, in Codes, a consistent performer. Can he get back to that former glory? That is the real question here. I think a win in Pro League would be an absolute great start and a definite bonus to his confidence.
Also, just talking about the coaches, this guy, he's been in Woongjin Stars for a long time. He has 199 wins as a coach.
Ooh.
He's going to be the first coach to go for 200 if he wins today.
Really? Where is Coach Park at?
144.
Oh wow! Okay.
Well, he's been you know, he's been under the main coach, Coach Ha from NBC Game, and of course Oregon from Air Force Ace actually returned to Woongjin Stars this week.
That's true. That's who we just got a glimpse of right there. So, for those of you guys who are old school Brood War watchers, you may have an idea of who Oregon is. Of course, in Korea, everybody is required to go to the military for 2 years. And that's due to, of course, the political situation between North and South Korea. But, you know, he is back now, and he is able to commit fully to StarCraft once again.
He's someone you should never ignore. He has 63.2% win rate. He has 2 Pro League wins, 2 Pro League second place finish.
Holy crap, I had no idea.
As a head coach.
That's very, very impressive. All right, now, talking a little bit about the game here, it looks like we have a reactor opening from our Woongjin Stars player, Light. He's getting that Reaper out. He's going to use that to scout, maybe do a little bit of harassment. Huck, though, he's just going for a pretty standard double gas opening. He's going to get that Stalker out, get a Mothership Core probably a little bit after that, and then we'll probably see an expansion from him. The real question is, what kind of tech path do you think he will choose?
Well, we're going to have to see and find out. There's so many tech paths that you could take now in this game with the new Heart of the Swarm, and even these players, they might have found some new build that works perfectly that other players still didn't find out. So here comes the Reaper trying to go for a probe. Is he going to get one?
Nope, it looks like that Stalker's going to be able to scare away that Reaper, but the Reaper, it gets a full scout on Huck's space, so, you know, pretty much everything will be seen here. The expansion is going up here, a second Stalker being chronoed out as well. Huck able to chase that Reaper away, but Light, he is in the no. He sees everything here. The Reaper actually, Light needs to micro that back, otherwise Huck will be able to get a free kill on it. Expansion also going up behind this, as well as a second barrack, so no fast factory just yet from Light.
Yeah, just standard play from both of these players. So now what is Huck going to go for? He's going to go for the Robo. Some players like to go for Robo early in the game to get the observers out because they don't know what their opponent is doing, but now he knows that there's an expansion. Alright, so sometimes players go for the Robo, get the fast observer inside their bases to make sure that the Widow Mine drop doesn't do as much damage as it can. And seems like Huck just wants to get the observer out just in case. If his opponent doesn't go for that, just tech to Colossus or tech into something else.
So we have a Tech Lab add-on for our Woongjin Stars player. It looks like he's going to go ahead and get that stim upgrade pretty fast here. Also getting a second gas. Generally, we won't see second gases so fast. Uh-oh, that Reaper, 2 more hits, and it is going to go down. But the Reaper is in Heart of the Swarm. They have that regenerative ability. So the Stalkers, will the fight today? No, it gets taken out. Nice play by Huck, sniping that off, ending the scouting potential for Light without having to waste a scan. Oh, also on the way, we have a Warp Prism from Huck, and we have 2 more gateways going down. Huck is a player that loves to be aggressive in almost all of his matchups here, so I think he's going to try to abuse the Stalkers, force a little bit extra defense at the front of the base, while, you know, potentially doing some Warp Prism drop. He could even add in the Mothership Core for added damage. He could use the Time Warp, you know, he could also, you know, just use the pure DPS of the Mothership Core as well to really harass Light's economy here.
And with the addition of the Mothership Core and like you said, the Time Warp, it's so much easier for Protoss players to harass. And once the Marines are under the Time Warp, it's so much easier for the Gateway units to harass the SCVs. And I really like this play. Huck, by all means, he's not only looking at this stage of the game. He's getting a Forge up. He's going to get his upgrades out. The only thing that I want to see from Huck right now is some different tech path. Are we going to see a Colossus? Are we going to see the Twilight Council? Seems like we're going to see it right after... we're going to see it right after Huck harasses with the Warp Prism, but it seems like he wants to get the +1 out first.
Well, actually, his Warp Gate isn't actually completed yet, so that may be a bit of a mistake from Huck, or he's just over-eager to get that Warp Prism. Maybe he wants to warp in as soon as Light moves out, really keep him pinned down in his base there.
I won't have to say that was a mistake. Huck had 2 probes inside a simulator. He was trying to chrono boost out a Stalker from one base, but during that time you have room to get the 50-50, so I think that was a small mistake by Huck, which could also be a huge mistake, but also that means he might have saved up a lot of energy to get those sentries out earlier in the game.
That's very true. Actually, that's a pretty high gateway count from Huck. He could be potentially going for some type of mid-game push here. That's very heavy on the gateway units. He's also getting an Immortal behind this. And that Warp Prism, is it going to be scouted? The third base, is it going to be started? It's just sitting there so close. Huck deciding to move that back. I don't know if he knows if Light saw that or not. It looks like he's moving it back just a little bit, getting some sentries there. I think he's going to go into the main base of Light and do some harassment with these sentries. And look at that. Oz and Jadon are smiling. They must know exactly what's going to happen right here.
Here we go. Those sentries, they could actually force field the ramp, and that could deal a lot of damage. Here comes a Warp Prism.
All right, the Warp Prism is dropping. The sentries are moving down now. A few more reinforcements. Unfortunate that they don't get quite enough SCVs in there, but they are at least able to, you know, get a few of those units off the mineral line there, and the Zealots are going to go to work on that command center and the refinery. The Marines coming in, seeing if they can do a little bit of damage. But look at this Light. He's moving in with his main force here, but Huck perfectly prepared for this attack here. And now the medevacs, are they going to go up to the main ground? No, they're not. Huck is completely prepared for this, and holy crap, there are so much units in Light's main base here. He's actually in a lot of trouble now. Huck taking a pretty decent supply advantage here. There are 2 Marines, there's 2 medevacs, but I mean, what's that going to do against an army of Zealots and Stalkers here?
Well, he needs to wait for the 2 medevacs to arrive at the main base to defend against that attack. How many SCVs did he kill? We're not sure yet, but he's getting all these units one by one. He needs to make sure the Warp Prism does not get taken out. He's dropping the units at the last second. Very nice force. You're blocking the units from getting to the Warp Prism at the last second.
All right, and now it looks like the Warp Prism, it's going to go ahead and land near that third base. Warp in a unit or 2 there. Can he stall that third base? No, it looks like the Warp Prism is going to get taken out, but the damage has been done. Huck delayed so much mining time from his opponent here. It's now 84 to 92 supply. Huck has the +1 already. He has Immortals, Stalkers, Sentries, that Mothership Core, a few Zealots as well. The Marine count is actually pretty high for Light here, and he does have the medevacs. The real question is, Huck, he's not going to attack. He's going to go ahead and take his third base. What is his tech choice going to be after this? Will he go into the Colossus tech? Will he go into more upgrades or the Twilight Council? We have 2 Twilight Councils on the way here. I think that may be a bit of a mistake unless he's really adamant about going for both Charge and Blink at the same time.
One thing that I really want to point out with the Warp Prism is that it was really smart play by Huck, by the fact that it actually forced Light to pull back all of his units, which means that Huck doesn't really have to defend against the speedy medevacs. He had the Nexus Cannon, enough units to defend against it, so if he actually... So if Light actually committed, he could have won the game right away. Light made the smart decision to pull back, but that also allowed Huck to go for the third Nexus. I still don't know why there's 2 Twilight Councils.
That's quite odd. Also, I want to mention Huck and Light both sitting around 60 workers each. Very impressive economies for both players here. And we have 2 medevacs moving out for Light here. It looks like he wants to do some harassment at that natural there, but there's 2 cannons there. There's a large contingent of Stalkers as well. And Huck, man, it looks like he's figured out a way to defend against drops. It's, you know, use 2 cannons, have them pretty close to each other, and have them to defend at very critical locations. Look at this, though. Hellbats being researched by our Terran player. He's getting the +1 armor as well, so it looks like he wants to add in a lot of mech into his army here. He's getting some Vikings, some Hellions, and we do have Colossi on the way from Huck as well, getting that 2-2 as well. So overall, Huck looking very defended, but Light is also really consolidating his forces as well.
So he needs to make sure he doesn't overmake the Zealots, because those Hellbats, I actually saw this a couple of times on ladder and a couple of times on professional matches. Those Hellbats just melt all the Zealots in the front, and that allows the Marines and the Marauders to wipe out every single other units on the map, because they're great against the Stalkers and the Sentries. Once the Colossus is down, Protoss Army, they can't do anything. So Huck needs to pretty much scout this and not make that many Zealots in the future.
All right, so Huck, he's going ahead and research that blink now, getting his Templar archives as well. Light now taking a significant supply advantage, so Huck is going to be forced to stay on the defensive here, although if we look at the map architecture, there's a lot of good potential choke areas. The double Twilight Councils are being used now. Huck's saying, well, I made this mistake, why not research 2 upgrades at once? At least his gateway units will pack that extra punch around the same time.
Or maybe he planned it ahead of time. You know, we don't know what Huck was thinking, or we don't know if that was a 100% mistake. Only the player knows what was happening.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure we'll hear about that if Huck is able to win this game and we get to have an interview with him. But now, Light, he's got a very scary looking army. They're pulling SCVs as well. Storm is not researched. Charge is not done. +2 armor is not yet complete. There are still a lot of anti-air units out as well. So this is going to be one scary attack. Huck's going to need perfect force fields to deal with this. But now both players are moving in here. There's actually not a lot, too many Vikings here, but the Stalkers, they're not focusing entirely on those Vikings there. The Vikings are making short work of the Colossi here, but Huck, he's been able to do so much damage. Excellent force fields. The supplies are still heavily in Light's favor, though, and I think he may take this game against Huck.
There's so many Marauders are left on the field, but the Immortals are still there, and he needs some reinforcements. Where's the reinforcements? GG by Huck, and Light takes the series.
That was quite an impressive army from Light there, really hitting a strong timing. He wanted just as much meat as possible with that army, using the Hellbats, pulling the SCVs as well, really making sure that he can edge the victory over Huck. So unfortunate that we weren't able to have another Foreigner victory, and now the score is going to be 1-1 between Huck and, between Evil Genius's Team Liquid and Woongjin Stars.
You know, Huck set up such a nice position to win, and all he had to do is defend that one attack, and he used a double time warp. But I think it was better if he drew out the main army into the Nexus and used the Nexus cannon, use that small choke for the force field, and try to eat away on the Terran army, especially since he scouted the SCVs coming.
Absolutely. Also, I feel like using the Stalkers to focus fire down the Vikings could have definitely helped out a lot. I didn't see any of that there, but you know, that was a very intensive battle. The force fields that were fantastic. That game really messing with the AI of Light so much, but there were just too many units. So
I think he just got too ahead of himself in that position.
All right, guys, we're going to move into the next set shortly here. It's going to be SOS versus JYP, guys.